Todd Wilson. I serve as the sheriff here in the city of Colonial Heights. I am proud to welcome all of you here today. I would ask that you please join me in welcoming Joy Bogies, Delegate Mike Sherry, Attorney General Jason Monarez, First Lady Suzanne Youngkin, and your 74th Governor of the Commonwealth, Governor Glenn Youngkin. Thank you all for coming here today. It's an honor and privilege to see every one of you. This is the first of its kind in the lobby, our atrium here at Fort Heights Courthouse. Very happy that we've accommodated all of you to the best of our ability. First to the mic today is an individual that this community is extremely proud of. All the service that he has provided, both military to this church, to our police department as an auxiliary chaplain, and now to both Chesterfield and Colonial Heights as the 66th District Delegate, Mike Cherry. Chair
Wilson, thank you for having us here today, and we are so honored to be in this place. And it's nice to know when the city spent all this money that we're actually going to use this space. That's good. So, City Council, I'll thank you in a minute. I'd like to open my remarks with a very extensive list of VIPs that are here in support today, but know that if I miss you for some reason, know that you're all my VIPs. So I'm thankful that you were able to come out today and to share in what I think is a very momentous moment in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so with that, my colleagues in the General Assembly, we have Delegate Kim Taylor, and I'll ask if you'll just raise your hand and wave, and then at the end we'll do a big round of applause for everyone. Delegate Joe McNamara, Delegate Kerry Pointer, Delegate Mark Early, Senator Emily Jordan. Our law enforcement leaders, Chief of Virginia State Police, Gary Settle, Sheriff Todd Wilson, Chief William Rothspock, Colonial Heights PD, Sheriff Carl Winter, Chesterfield County, former Sheriff Mike Brown, Bedford County, Sheriff Vanessa Crawford, Petersburg, Chief Early from Prince George Police, Sheriff Walterson, King and Queen County, Sheriff Stanley, Hopewell. Local elected leaders from Colonial Heights City Council, we have Bobby Wade, Kenny Vernier, Elizabeth Luck, John Petrowski, John Wood, and we have City Manager Doug Smith, and we have Commonwealth Attorney Greg Collins, Treasurer, City of Colonial Heights, and I think the prettiest lady here, Bill Fiesenmeyer, Commissioner of the Revenue. From Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors, we have Jim Engel. We have Mark Miller. We have Kevin Carroll. Aaron Barr, Chesterfield County Commonwealth Attorney, Dr. Joe Casey. Did I see him sleeping? There he is. Great to see you. Former Speaker Kurt Cox. Thank you for coming and being here with us today. Andy Block and Chris Seiler from UVA Law. Great to see you guys here. There are so many people that I would want to thank for their help in getting this legislation to where we are today. Chris Gabriel and Professor Block are from the UVA Policy Center, and they helped with the drafting of this bill. They helped with data that we used as we went through testimony to make sure that people understood the magnitude of this problem and why it is so important that we have a labor trafficking statute here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Though she couldn't be here today because of a new job, I would be remiss in not mentioning Delegate Carrie Delaney. She was the chief co-patron on this bill and worked very hard. As you can imagine, in a divided legislature here in Virginia, you need colleagues from both sides of the aisle to get things accomplished. And she was a great partner in getting this bill to the governor. Chesterfield Commonwealth Attorney Aaron Barr, who was in every hearing and actually helped rewrite the bill. So as this bill navigated its way through the House, it went through unanimously because we're really smart and it's a really good bill. And then it went over to the Senate, and they're sometimes too smart by half, and wanted to rework the bill, and gave us approximately about 30 to 36 hours to rewrite the entirety of the bill to suit them. And Aaron was masterful in doing that along with our friends at UVA Pulse Law. We got it rewritten, and now we are able to say that it went through unanimously in both chambers in different forms to get it to where we are today. All of my colleagues who signed on to co-patron the bill and are here in support today, thank you for your work, and I appreciate you being here. And beyond those that are involved, the message that this bill sends is simple. We will simply not sit idly by while people are trafficked through the Commonwealth of Virginia. As I stated in my press conference at the beginning of the session, human trafficking is modern-day slavery, and it has no place here. I know that ending this scourge on humanity has been the signature goal for this administration, and it has been an honor to stand with the governor, the First Lady, and the Attorney General in this fight. I am grateful that with the signing of this bill, Commonwealth attorneys across this state will have a new tool in their toolbox to stop labor trafficking and hold accountable those who would perpetrate this on others. It's humbling to see all of you that have come out today and share in this moment. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce Joy Bogies to share a little bit of her story and why this legislation is so important. Joy?
Thank you so much for all of your support and for every one of you taking time out from your busy schedules to be here to support this bill. I'm a former participant and graduate of the HARP program in Chesterfield County Jail. I am currently a peer recovery specialist with the Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office. So I have both the personal and the professional experience to know the importance and significance of this bill. Personally, there were instances in my life where a bill like this could have made the difference. There were threats, force, or coercion in my life. Professionally, I am blessed with the opportunity to come in contact with men and women who are struggling in terrible situations in their lives. They're in positions where they feel that force, where they feel that coercion, and they don't feel like they have the ability to get out of those situations. Being able to see people as human beings, being able to see what this bill provides with accountability. I'm so grateful to the governor and to Delegate Cherry and everyone who had a part in this bill. Because what I don't think a lot of people understand is that accountability leads to protection. And people who are finding themselves in these situations, who oftentimes do not even realize the brevity and the reality of these situations that they are in. Accountability leads to that protection, leads to safety, and leads to hope. So for that, I'm grateful to all of you, and I'm grateful and supportive of this bill. Thank you.
Joy, it was great to talk with you and also to hear your story. The governor and I often talk about those quiet heroes in our society among us that do extraordinary things as men and women that don't often get recognized. And Joy, your story is really an inspiration and a true example of living redemption. It's a real honor to be here. It's an honor to be here with this governor who has been passionate about this issue back when he was just running for the office of governor. This was something that he was passionate about, and he has made this front and center of one of his initiatives. You know, there's a host of bills that can be signed today, but I want to give you just an example of just one that's going to be signed today that I think is going to have a real impact on fighting what is a crime that happens in plain sight. It happens in every community, urban, rural, or suburban. So often Virginians think it's not happening in my area. It is. The world's largest criminal enterprise is narcotics trafficking. The second largest criminal enterprise on the global scale is human trafficking. It's $150 billion a year. Very proud of the work that we've done in our office. We have our human trafficking coordinator, human trafficking task force. And last year, there was one of the largest human trafficking rings broken up in the Waynesburg area. It's a great example of partnership with our state partners, our state police, our local law enforcement on the peninsula, and our federal law enforcement, particularly HSI. And what they quickly realized became apparent is these were charges, and this was a situation where they were exploiting over 80 migrants from El Salvador, some as young as 14. And they were having to work off, quote unquote, work off their labor because of some local cartel or other cartels and other entities The going rate right now, we smuggle up the doors roughly $15,000 per person. It is a death on their community. They're working 18 hours a day, living in an unconditioned warehouse. Some as young as 14. What we realized is that these are cases that have to be brought in federal court because Virginia's anti-labor trafficking laws were not as strong as they are at the federal level. And so as a result, and we're very glad we've gotten convictions, and our federal partners have been fantastic through all of this. We wanted to give our great Commonwealth's attorneys, our great sheriffs and Sheriff Leonard and others, the opportunity in these cases to be brought in state court. 60% of human trafficking is sex trafficking, but about 40% is labor trafficking. And so this is indeed the most vulnerable of our society. And so the message that I think the governor is sending today is that human trafficking for labor is as inexcusable as sex trafficking. And it is absolutely imperative that the laws of the Commonwealth of Virginia reflect that. Because all forms of trafficking at its core violate someone's individual dignity and humanity. And treating them equally within our legal framework acknowledges the severity of labor trafficking and provides equal protection for all our victims. I want to thank Delegate Cherry for his leadership on this. This measure I just described passed a bipartisan measure. All of these require members of both sides of the aisle to come together. And so somebody who's also been a partner, has a passion for her, has been the First Lady of Virginia. She has a heart as big as Texas, but she's an incredible First Lady for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and she's indeed leaving a legacy with kindness and hope for all Virginians. And so please welcome my friend, the First Lady of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
I'm the only thing between you and your governor. So I'm going to be very brief. I just want to say thank you to the Attorney General, to our General Assembly, to all the law enforcement professionals here, and to every single person in this room that I have no doubt has a heart for other people, and that's why you're here today. It's so tremendously exciting to see people crammed into a room really to talk about how we make the lives of other Virginians better. That's what we're doing today. I also want to point out that according to our State Department, approximately 27 million people are trafficked each and every year around our globe. Of those, 7 out of 10 are women. And more importantly, of those 7, 5 are women and 2 are girls. So this issue disproportionately affects women and girls, both here in the Commonwealth of Virginia and globally, in our nation and globally. And so I am particularly proud of the work that's being done to help women and girls. I also just want to say a thank you to Glenn. Our journey on this issue started long before he ever decided to run for public office. It was something that God put on our hearts very early on when we saw a presentation and were horrified. Had really no idea what was going on right under our noses in our home of Fairfax County. And as you know, it sits on the 95 corridor, and so we are particularly vulnerable to human beings being moved up and down the eastern seaboard of our nation. So on his very first day in office in 22, he signed Executive Order number 7 to establish the Commission on Human Trafficking Prevention and Survivor Support. And since that very day and long before, we have prayed over and we have sought very diligently to be God's hands and feet on this earth and to save people from trafficking. Thank you for your part in that. And without further ado, your 74th Governor, Glenn Youngkin.
Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedules. I know most everyone here, and I know that you all have incredibly demanding professional lives. And so thank you for being here for this most important purpose. As Suzanne said, this is a topic that has been at the top of our hearts for a long time. And what I am particularly encouraged by is the universal effort in order to not just combat human trafficking, but to end it. And that is our goal, not to reduce it by 10%, but to end it. And it has been a systematic journey by so many people in order to continue to not only inform, educate, but to strengthen the laws that we can bring to bear, and finally, to bring people together to allow those that have been trafficked to find the dignity that they deserve. That's what this is all about. It is truly an injustice, and to my friend Mike Cherry, thank you for once again describing it as it is, a scourge in modern-day slavery. And thank you for your passion. So there have been lots of recognitions, and I just want to again repeat that it has been a collaboration between activists and law enforcement heroes. We have our own human trafficking task force within state police. And Colonel Settle, thank you for dedicating those incredible professionals to battle human trafficking across the Commonwealth. We've had a tremendous collaboration with the Attorney General's office, and that has been hugely important. And we've watched our General Assembly on a bipartisan basis go to work. And so thank you all. I'm sitting here looking at Senator Jordan, and I know that in your family, this is a top priority, as your husband Andrew was recently promoted to become the Attorney General's Human Trafficking Task Force Coordinator. And so thank you for being here in support of him, because I know that's why you're here. I also want to just point out that this is not a Republican, Democrat, House, Senate. This is all of us. And so there are a number of legislators who have been deep supporters of these efforts who aren't able to be here. So, of course, in addition to Mike Cherry, who patroned the bill we're going to sign today, and of course, Kerry Claney, who couldn't be here. But again, I want to thank Delegate Early for all you've done, Delegate McNamara, Delegate Simons, Corner, and of course, you know, one of the things that I'm most impressed by is Delegate Taylor's work here, and then of course on the Senate side, there's been huge work by Senator Jordan, Senator Boysko, Senator Servants. I mean, it's all over, and of course Delegate Watts, Delegate Siebold, Delegate Keys-Gamarra. I've got bills that I'll be signing today around human trafficking that they pushed as well, and carried and patroned. This is a universal effort to understand what we can do, again, to not just diminish human trafficking, but to eliminate it. There was a few comments made earlier by Delegate Cherry that I want to lean on a little bit, and that is the collaborations that we have with people across the Commonwealth, and particularly the work from UVA. And we have two students that helped us incredibly. Chris Seiler, who is here. Chris, where are you? There you are. Thank you. And Gabrielle Mahoney, who couldn't be here today. Their professor, Andy Block. Andy, thank you for being here. And the work that goes on with our institutions of higher learning and their amazing professors is so important. Gives us the ability to extend our reach and to do so much more. Labor trafficking is distinct in its nature and impact from sex trafficking. It is an evil that lurks in the shadows that many people don't recognize as there. It exploits the most vulnerable among us. And until now, we haven't been able, as the Attorney General shared with us, to bring to bear the full brunt of the state's prosecutorial capability because our laws were inadequate. And this is why this bill is so important. And don't think for a minute that this is an issue that exists other places besides where you are. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Virginians who have been trafficked over the last 4 or 5 years, and we need to stop it. And that is the reality. And that, of course, is why signing this bill is so important. What does this bill do? This bill criminalizes labor trafficking, holding accountable accountable those who force and coerce individuals into labor. It applies not only to those who directly engage in this abhorrent practice, but those who also profit from it. And that is really important, because oftentimes the person behind the labor trafficking is not the one who is actually doing the labor trafficking. It's the one who is profiting from it. Importantly, the law equips our state prosecutors with the tools to bring these offenders to swift justice and significantly improves our often slow pace of federal prosecutions. And so I know the Attorney General's team is ready to roll along with our Commonwealth's attorneys all across this great state. The law also establishes penalties for labor trafficking on par with those for sex trafficking. And it also allows victims to take civil action. So let's just throw everything we've got at people and see if we can, in fact, eliminate this. The bill is a testament to what can be achieved when we work together. And that's exactly what's happened here. As we heard, it was passed unanimously in both chambers, and it's a signal to the fact that there is not an argument here. We must get this done. It will make a difference immediately in the lives of survivors, and immediately from preventing those who might otherwise become victims. It will make Virginia safer. So with that, I would first again like to thank everyone for prioritizing this most important issue. Most importantly, allowing our collective work to fundamentally improve people's lives, keep people safe, and to bring dignity back to those that have been truly, truly degraded. And with that, let's go to work and sign up. Here we go. All right, it is my privilege to sign House Bill 633, patroned by Delegate Mike Cherry. Chief co-patron, Delegate Carrie Delaney. Co-patrons, Delegate Mark Early, Delegate Joe McNamara, and Delegate Shelley Simons. This bill formally criminalizes labor trafficking and holds accountable people and organizations who knowingly compel individuals into providing labor or services by force or threat of harm. This bill marks a significant milestone in our ongoing efforts to eradicate labor trafficking by underscoring the importance of prioritizing the protection of vulnerable individuals and ensuring their basic human rights are upheld. Delegate Cherry, it is my privilege to sign House Bill 633, and thank you again for your incredible efforts. So, signing a bill is one thing. Now we all have work to do. And so I would once again hope that the big steps that we have been taking together will inspire us to aspire to take even bigger ones. So each of you that has a chance to touch this effort to eradicate human trafficking, I want to thank you. And let's continue to make bold moves and take big steps. God bless you.